I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been.
I'm not afraid to die. I'm not afraid to waste my life, but when I die, I'm going to paradise.
You're not man enough to fuck with me. You can't last 2 minutes in my world, bitch. Scared of the real man. I'll fuck you till you love me, faggot.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart, I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the undisputed, the undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson.
July 20th, 2024, the world held its breath as Mike Tyson, the man once known as the baddest man on the planet, stood in a boxing ring facing Jake Paul, a fighter young enough to be his son. As the final bell rang and Paul's hand was raised in victory, the boxing world grappled with a profound reality. Even legends must face the passage of time. But to understand the weight of this moment, we need to step back and witness the extraordinary journey that brought us here. Mike Tyson's story isn't just about wins and losses in the ring. It's an epic saga of a street kid who became the youngest heavyweight champion in history, lost it all, and found redemption in the most unexpected places. In this video, we'll take you behind the headlines, beyond the knockouts, and into the soul of a man whose life reads like a Hollywood script, except every punch, every fall, and every comeback was brutally real.
Everything was so hostile. There was never a subtle moment. It was always hostile. Cops always stopping.
Born in the unforgiving streets of Brownsville, Brooklyn, Tyson's early years were a battle for survival. His father left before he could remember, leaving his mother to raise him and his siblings in crushing poverty. Bullied for his high-pitched voice and lisp, Tyson fought back, not with words, but with fists. By the age of 13, he had been arrested nearly 40 times. Tyson's life of petty crime had landed him in the Tryon School for Boys, a juvenile detention center in upstate New York. For most, it was a dead end. But for Tyson, it became the unlikely stage for a life-altering discovery. Inside the detention center, Tyson's aggression found an outlet. He was often in fights, not because he wanted to dominate, but because he didn't know how else to cope with the anger and fear that had shaped his young life. It was here that Mike caught the attention of Bobby Stewart, a former boxer and counselor at the facility. Stewart saw something in the young boy, raw power, untamed and untrained, but undeniable.
I remember the day when Mike came, yes. I remember the first time laying eyes on him. And they brought him in handcuffs. And he found out that I was an ex-fighter. And he asked one of the staff, well, how can I meet Stewart? Finally, I went to his room one night and I banged on his door to intimidate him. I said, so you want to meet me? What the hell do you want? He said, I want to be a fighter. I said, so do the rest of these other guys, all the rest of these other guys. They haven't got to work to be a fighter.
I met this gentleman named Bobby Stewart. So I was saying, wow, I hear Bobby Stewart was a boxer. Everybody talks about him. And then he came to my door, knocked on the door. I heard you want to see me. What do you want? How do you know who I am? And he was a tough, rough guy. I'm like, wow, I thought he was going to be nice because I'm one of the kids, but he wasn't nice. I said, I want to be a fighter. He said, everybody wants to be a fighter. Show me you want to be a fighter and show some respect to people. Because I wasn't that kind of, I was very disrespectful to everyone.
After some convincing, Stewart agreed to train him, but only if Tyson stayed out of trouble and focused on his studies. Within weeks, it was clear that Tyson was no ordinary kid. Stewart saw potential, but he knew he alone couldn't shape the boy into the champion he was destined to become. So, he made a call that would change Mike Tyson's life forever. Stewart introduced Tyson to the legendary trainer, Cus D'Amato, a man known for his ability to transform raw talent into greatness.
I said, guess what he said about you, punk? He says, you continue down the line you're on now, you become the heavyweight champion of the world. And he hugged me. And he says, he did not. I said, he did, I'm telling you. And he drove in this long driveway. And he's looking. He said, what's this? I said, this is the house. Cuss the house? He said, I'm going to stay here? What am I going to do, take the garbage out? I said, probably. He said, there's a lot of other things you're going to do too. But I said, if you behave and do what you're supposed to, you will live here with Camille and Cuss.
For Tyson, this meeting wasn't just a new chapter, it was the beginning of his true story.
And he gives me the motivation. I will stay alive, and I will watch him become a success. Because I will not leave until that happens.
Mike Tyson's transformation began when he met Cus D'Amato, a seasoned trainer who saw not just potential in Tyson, but destiny. Under Cus's mentorship, Tyson found discipline and purpose for the first time in his life.
Keep the head down when you come up with the H. Keep your head down. Yeah, I mean, it's not coming up, but starting to come up. You can make it perfect. It's good, but it's not perfect.
Cus didn't just teach him to fight, he taught him to think like a champion. For Cus, boxing wasn't just about technique, it was about psychology.
And remember, it's always good to throw the punch where you could hit him and he can't hit you. That's what the science of boxing is all about.
He taught Tyson to conquer fear, not by ignoring it, but by embracing it. Cus believed that fear could be a fighter's greatest weapon if controlled, and his words left a profound impact on Tyson.
And of course, fear is our best friend. Without fear, we would all die. We'd do something foolish or stupid, which would cause our death or being crippled.
Cus instilled in Tyson the peekaboo style, a unique technique that emphasized constant head movement, a high guard, and explosive counterpunching. The style suited Tyson perfectly, turning him into an unstoppable force in the ring. Cus knew instantly that Tyson had the physical tools to dominate the sport, but more importantly, he recognized the emotional scars the young fighter carried, the fear, the anger, and the need for approval. Cus believed that if he could harness Tyson's emotions, he could transform him into a champion. Under Cus's guidance, Tyson began to transform, not just as a fighter, but as a person. His punches became faster, his footwork more precise, and his confidence began to grow. For the first time in his life, Tyson felt like he belonged. In Cus, he didn't just find a coach, he found a father figure.
Tyson not only has a very hard, terrific punch in either hand, but he has developed elusive qualities and has the most important quality, the will to win. He has the potential, and most of all, he has the desire. He really wants to be a champion.
The bond between Cus and Tyson went beyond boxing. Cus became the father Tyson never had, providing the structure and discipline he so desperately needed. In return, Tyson gave Cus a renewed sense of purpose in his final years. Together, they were more than a trainer and fighter. They were family.
Mostly it just changed my life because he helped me to deal with people. I know how to deal with people now. Before, I couldn't talk to people. I always want to be alone, and now I learned how to deal with anyone. I could talk to anyone, even about their problems. And it's like a father and son relationship. You know, even though he is my manager and trainer, sometimes I forget that because of the way we are. The first day he met me, he took me in his house. He didn't even know me.
I can say honestly, I have a very deep affection for him, I do. To me, he's my boy, he's with me. I often say to him, you know, I owe you a lot, and he doesn't know what I mean, but I'm going to tell him now what I mean. If he weren't here, I probably wouldn't be alive today. The fact that he is here and doing what he's doing, and doing as well as he's doing, and improving as he has, gives me the motivation and interest to stay alive. Because I believe that a person dies when they no longer wants to live. But I have a reason with Mike here, and he gives me the motivation. I will stay alive, and I will watch him become a success. Because I will not leave until that happens.
Cus passed away in 1985, just a year before Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion in history. Though he wasn't there to witness it, his influence was felt in every punch Tyson threw, in every victory he achieved. To this day, Tyson carries Cuss's lessons with him, both in and out of the ring.
I can remember being at Cus D'Amato's funeral. I was very scared. I felt very vulnerable. I felt lonely. I just felt naked to the world. I just felt like the very vulnerable young boy. But to me, it was like I lost my whole life. I didn't know where to go from there.
Daddy told me because he told me what to do. And I started believing in this old man. He broke me down and rebuilt me. I was just like a total different person. Cus was different than me than it was with his other fighters. Cus trained me to be just totally ferocious, in the ring and out. We had a totally different relationship. We had a totally different relationship. That's why once I got involved with Cus, I was a young boy, but once he spoke with me every night about discipline and character, I knew nobody was nobody physically was gonna ever fuck with me again. I didn't know I was the one.
A boy comes to me with a spark of interest. I feed that spark and it becomes a flame. I feed the flame and it becomes a fire. I feed the fire and it becomes a roaring blaze.
Amidst the grief, Tyson found solace and strength in the discipline that D'Amato had instilled in him. Though emotionally fragile, he pushed forward, driven by the mission Cus had envisioned for him, to become the greatest boxer of all time.
I was 14 and I fought in the Junior Olympics in 1980, I believe it was, and I broke all the records.
You tell me what you're gonna do tomorrow.
I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna jab to the head, then I'm gonna throw eighth to the body, and then I'm gonna move after I hit. I'm punching the body.
What are you gonna do when you get inside?
I'm gonna open up like a son of a bitch.
I won it all. I won all my fights by knockouts in the first round, and I broke the record with a knockout in 8 seconds. I guess that's the fastest knockout on record.
At just 20 years old, Tyson wasn't just winning, he was annihilating. November 22nd, 1986, a date etched in the annals of boxing history. On this night, a 20-year-old Mike Tyson walked into the ring to face Trevor Berbick, the reigning WBC heavyweight champion. What unfolded in those brutal rounds wasn't just a title fight. It was the coronation of the youngest heavyweight champion the world had ever seen. In just 2 rounds, Tyson delivered a brutal knockout, leaving Berbick unable to stand. Mike Tyson didn't just win a title, he announced himself as the most fearsome force in boxing. At 20 years and 4 months old, he became the youngest heavyweight champion the sport had ever seen, fulfilling a dream that Cus D'Amato had envisioned years before. That night, Tyson wasn't just a champion, he was a phenomenon. He had redefined what it meant to be a heavyweight boxer, blending raw power with the kind of technical brilliance rarely seen in the sport. The world had crowned its new king.
And we've got a brand new WBC heavyweight champion of the world, and he's a youngster named Mike Tyson, who can reign for a long, long time.
But with greatness comes pressure, and with fame comes temptation. Tyson had reached the pinnacle of the boxing world, but behind the scenes, cracks were beginning to form. Success came at a price, and for Mike Tyson, the fall was closer than anyone could have imagined. What followed Tyson's historic rise was a descent that no one saw coming, a journey into chaos, controversy, and heartbreak that would test the very core of his identity.
For the first time in his career, Mike Tyson hits the canvas. He's in big trouble. He's not gonna make it.
Tyson embraced his celebrity status with open arms, living a life that even Hollywood couldn't script. Mansions, luxury cars, exotic pets, he had it all. But behind the glitz and glamour was a man losing control.
Mike, why do you have to talk like that?
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you. Do you have a problem? Turn off your station.
You know what? I think we'll end the discussion right now.
Then we could.
You got it. Have a nice fight, Mike.
Off.
In the boxing world, Tyson was seen as invincible. But on February 11th, 1990, that illusion shattered. Overconfident and undertrained, Tyson faced Buster Douglas in what was supposed to be another routine victory. Instead, it became the greatest upset in boxing history. The loss to Buster Douglas wasn't just a defeat, it was a fracture in the invincible image Tyson had built over years of dominance. For the first time, the world saw a vulnerable Mike Tyson, and that vulnerability extended far beyond the ring. Tyson's personal life was unraveling. Accusations of violence and abuse followed him wherever he went, culminating in his conviction for rape in 1992.
A New York woman is accusing boxer Mike Tyson of raping her back in 1990s.
Heavyweight boxing champion Mike Tyson is being sued for an alleged rape that happened nearly 3 decades ago.
Tyson is accused of raping a woman outside an Albany dance club in the early 1990s.
Sentenced to 6 years in prison, Tyson's career and reputation seemed irreparably damaged. In one rare interview, Tyson reflects, "I thought I was unstoppable, but life has a way of humbling you." For 3 years, Mike Tyson's world was confined to the stark walls of a prison cell. Stripped of his fame, fortune, and freedom, he faced the harshest opponent of his life, himself. Behind bars, Tyson was forced to confront his demons, his past, and the choices that had brought him to this point.
Well, there's no doubt about it. We write our own story in life. Whatever we do, whatever good we do in life, we get good in return. Whatever ill we do, we get ill in return. There's no doubt about it.
It was a time of reflection and regret, but also a time of transformation. Tyson began to reconnect with the values instilled in him by Cus D'Amato. He read voraciously, studied philosophy, and rediscovered his love for the sport that had once given him purpose. When Tyson was released in 1995, he emerged into a world that had changed, but he was determined to reclaim his place in it. The comeback wasn't just about boxing, it was about redemption, about proving to himself and the world that he was more than his mistakes. This wasn't just a return to the ring, it was a battle for his legacy. A battle to prove that even after the hardest falls, greatness can rise again.
I believe everyone that's involved in my life, one day or other, will betray me.
If you believe that, you must be unhappy.
No, I'm not unhappy. I'm just aware of my circumstances.
When Mike Tyson stepped back into the world in 1995, the spotlight was waiting for him, but so were the shadows of his past. The former champion wasn't just returning to boxing, he was waging a battle for redemption. The world wanted to know, could the man once known as Iron Mike rise from the ashes of his mistakes?
Can I tell you something now? Praise be to Allah,
I cheer for myself 100 million times a day in my mind. To me, I'm my biggest fan. There's nothing in the world better than me. So I don't think about that. Those guys really don't know what they're cheering for. I know the total me, and I know why they should be cheering, but they don't know they cheer for the knockout.
Tyson's comeback was nothing short of sensational. His raw power and intensity hadn't diminished, and the boxing world welcomed him back with open arms. In his first fight after release, Tyson dispatched Peter McNeely in just 89 seconds, proving that the ferocity that had once defined him was still intact. But while the wins kept coming, so did the challenges. Tyson's fights against Evander Holyfield, including the infamous ear-biting incident, became as much a part of his story as his triumphs. These moments reminded the world that the road to redemption is rarely a straight path. In 2009, Tyson faced a loss no parent should ever endure. His 4-year-old daughter, Exodus, passed away in a heartbreaking accident at home. The tragedy brought Tyson to his knees, shattering the man who had faced giants in the ring, but now faced the unimaginable pain of losing his child.
I don't know. Something happened that day. I don't know what happened that day. I couldn't handle it at all. You have to go. You understand, right? Thank you. Thank you, man. She was already brain dead, but when I got there, I was mad and I wanted somebody to pay. It was the hardest thing in the world I ever had to do.
For Tyson, this was a turning point, a moment that forced him to reevaluate his life, his priorities, and his purpose. Out of this darkness, he found a renewed sense of love and responsibility, dedicating himself to his family and to being a better man. Over the years, Tyson began to rebuild himself from the inside out. He explored spirituality, embraced sobriety, and found new ways to connect with the world.
I just believe God should be your personal entity. I don't believe God should be, that's my opinion. You should have your relationship with God, because when it's your turn to go in front of God, you're going to be alone. Judgment Day, your homeboy's not going to be inside, your mother, your father, you'll be alone. That's what they say. So you have to have your own personal relationship with God. And any way you believe it's possible, that's better, and help you reach your highest potential.
His one-man show, Mike Tyson, Undisputed Truth, offered fans an unfiltered look at his life, raw, emotional, and unflinchingly honest.
Of course I didn't believe in that, and I didn't either. Because they go, yeah, that's just a form of control. If they could get you to stop having sex, they could get you to stop breathing. And of course I didn't want to stop breathing, right? But to be honest, I actually knocked Buster Douglas out in the 8th round. It was a 13-second count. You see for yourself. Check it out.
This wasn't the Mike Tyson who terrified opponents in the ring. This was a man who had learned to confront his demons, not with his fists, but with vulnerability and self-awareness. And the world responded, seeing Tyson not just as a fighter, but as a human being.
I'm a human being. I've abused women. Women abused me. It was like a twin blade. We both abused each other, And that's just basically what it was, basically. I'm not an angel. God, I wish I was. But even if I was an angel, nobody would like me, because there's something wrong with my face that irritates everybody sometimes.
In 2024, decades after his prime, Mike Tyson stepped back into the ring once more, this time for a match that captured the imagination of fans around the globe. Facing social media sensation Jake Paul, the fight wasn't just a clash of generations, it was a testament to Tyson's enduring legacy. Mike Tyson stepped into the ring, not to prove he was invincible, but to show the world his enduring love for boxing. Though he lost to a younger opponent, Tyson's courage and humility solidified his legacy, not as a man who refuses to age, but as one who embraces his humanity. Even in defeat, Tyson's presence in the ring was a triumph. For the man who once defined invincibility, this moment wasn't about winning or losing. It was about showing the world that strength comes in many forms, including the courage to keep fighting.
I didn't prove nothing to anybody, only to myself. I'm not one of those guys that look to please the world. I'm just happy with what I can do.
What does your gut say right now? Is this possibly the last time for you?
I don't think so.
You've got more in you.
Mike Tyson's story is more than boxing. It's a tale of triumph and tragedy, of loss and redemption. It's the story of a man who faced the harshest blows life could deliver and found a way to stand again. Through it all, Tyson has shown us that greatness isn't about never falling. It's about always getting back up. With each fight, Tyson reminded the world that he wasn't just a boxer. He was a symbol of resilience, a man who turned pain into purpose. And even now, in the face of defeat, his story continues to inspire. What's next for Iron Mike? That's a question only he can answer. But if history tells us anything, it's that this isn't the end of his story.
From my experience, I found out that God, it tests you. It tests you and see how much of this you can take before you say, let's just be finished with this. You know what I mean? It wants to show you something. It wants to see how much you can take, how much you can handle of life. You say you love life, you want to live life. I'm going to show you life. Life is beautiful, but you have to accept the good and the bad as being beautiful. You can't accept the good, oh, this is beautiful. Then we lose some, oh, life sucks. Life is beautiful because life gives us the ability to just know them on our journey in life. We met them. We loved them. We cared about them. They cared about us. That's the purpose of life. Just to enjoy what we had, what we journeyed through it. Because sometimes we don't understand, like, what is this thing? What is my purpose? Why am I here? Why do I have to go through this pain? Why do I have to go through this fear all the time? Why can't it just be peaceful all the time? Then it wouldn't be life.